And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Saratoga Springs Ice Skating Rink for this evening's championship game of the Saratoga Tournament. The Massena Red Raiders and the St. Joseph's Marauders of Buffalo. I'm Jerry Manor. Along with me is Dave McLennan, and of course our statisticians Gary Donaldson and Walter Clark. And we certainly are glad to have you folks with us tonight for what should be an interesting hockey game. Dave, this St. Joseph's team is big. They're experienced, they're strong skaters, good shooters. This should be a big test for Massena tonight.
This is a test that both clubs have long awaited. I know, talking to Coach John Mickler prior to the game, his club has been waiting since, he said, last year to play the Massena Red Raiders. They have the utmost respect in the Massena program, and they've been waiting a long time. They suffered their only loss, I think, on Thursday night. They lost to St. Francis 2-1, his first loss in 2 years. They were impressive in their win over Niskayuma here last night. I think the final score was 8-1. The Raiders, on the other hand, just as excited about playing St. Joe's. They have something to prove. Both these clubs ranked in the #1 spot. St. Joe's for most of last year, and the Raiders coming out as #1 in the final poll after their state championship. I believe St. Joe's feels a little bit slighted that they're not allowed to participate in the state championship. In fact, they're in the process of petitioning their section right now. There's only 2 sections in the state, section number 6, and I think section number 9, that do not treat the parochial schools or the private schools not in the same as it's referred to. But they're trying to change that. But this is a long-awaited matchup between 2 fine high school hockey teams.
You know, I was trying to remember the last time Massena played St. Joseph's, and I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago in the Ogdensburg tournament, and they lost to them rather handily. If I recall correctly, it was quite a while ago, though, and I'm not sure it was St. Joe's, but it seems to me it was the team from Buffalo. They had beaten St. Francis in an Ogdensburg tournament about 3 or 4 years ago, and I think a couple of years before that they lost to St. Joe's. But of course, those players are long graduated, and 2 entirely different teams here. But we know that this St. Joseph's team is a very good team. You mentioned they lost the other night to St. That was their first loss in 2 years.
First loss in 2 years, and they go by periods. Coach Mickler takes it, breaks each game down into 15-minute. Out of the 18 so-called mini games, they've only lost 1 this year, and that was against one period, and that was the period against St. Francis 2-1, and that was the final score of the game, 2-1. But he said it was an outstanding game. Big club on the defense, Jerry. The Raiders won't face. They've used 6 starting defensemen, and the smallest one, as I look down, is 6'1", 190. They're all huge on defense.
Boy, they're big kids, strong kids, and like I say, they know how to play the game. They know how to skate. They know how to score. They know how to do everything it takes to win hockey games, I'm sure. So it should be, like I said, a good test for the Massena Red Raiders. And we're underway here. Off the face-off, the puck goes back inside St. Joe's territory, or inside Massena territory. We've got Brian Garcia in the nets for Massena, and we've got the Brian Terry line out there for the Raiders, although we have a new wing on the line, at least for a little while today. DeRocher going after the puck in his own end. It comes to Kerwin in the corner. Kerwin gets tied up. We got Tom Buckley, Thomas Worth, and Larry Scott out there for St. Joe's. Massena clears the zone momentarily. It comes back in. Willard and Kerwin jamming for it. Here's a hard check at the blue line, and we're going to have a whistle, and I think we're going to have our first penalty of the game. I think they're going to run them both. Willard and the St. Joe's players are both going to go off the ice. That's going to be Thomas Worth, and they're going to get matching minors.
Yeah, Thomas Worth stuck his elbow in Chad Willard's face, and Chad retaliated. But the Marauders, right off the bat in the first 30-some seconds, they've got the puck into the Raider zone, an aggressive forecheck right in on top of the Massena defense, and this looks like their game plan. As we mentioned, huge defense and a veteran team. I think of the starting, he goes 4 lines. Coach Mickler uses 4 lines. The starting 3 lines, 11 out of the, or 8 out of the 9 are seniors.
Craig Terry, Brian LeBombard, and Jamie Courier from Massena out there now against the Cressetta line. Cressetta, let's see here, Kochanidi and Adamski. So this is going to be a little fun here tonight. Here's LeBombard, just kicks it out to center ice, picked up by the St. Joe's defense. They control it at neutral ice and dump it back to the Massena blue line. Puck control by St. Joe's momentarily. Courier trying to move it out of the zone. LeBombard comes up with it, flips it down the ice, and they are going to call that one icing. With 13:53 left in the first period on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, it's 0-0.
One of the things the Raider coaching staff will stress before tonight's game, we talked about it this afternoon. The staff a little upset with some of the wings wandering off their position. They're going to try to stress positional hockey up and down their wings and stay in position if they want to come up and beat this St. Joe's club tonight.
LaPointe will take the face-off now as he comes out on center on this line to the blue line. Here's the shot from there by the defenseman, and that's wide. Puck picked up in the corner by Caccianiti. Caccianiti trying to skate out of the corner, has it taken away, and here comes LaPointe busting out of the zone. LaPointe from Massena takes it in left wing side, looking for Courier, but it's taken away by the big defenseman, Dan Toole, rips it around the boards. Kept in at the point by the Massena defense, flipped in behind the net. That was P.J. Rochford. And here comes St. Joe's all the way down the ice. And that'll be an icing call on them. Trying to hit that centerman, Cressetta, coming out of the zone, but it was way too far in front of him, and he couldn't control it.
And that's something they saw last night when Saratoga was able to headman the puck to that center, streaking up the ice, Timmy McNamara. This was a planned move right here. The defenseman, when he made the turn, didn't have anyone on him. He immediately looked middle, and as you mentioned, number 19 was breaking straight up, and Cressetta just missed him by inches.
Matt Reed out there now to take the face-off. Right in front, here's a shot, David, and the save made by Janelle, the goaltender. And David ends up in the net as he is checked into the net. But a good play and a good face-off by Matt Reed to get the puck inside like that.
And a mistake by the opposition center who allowed him to slide through. You can't let the opposing center, you might lose the draw, you can't let that man step through you. And Matt Reed stepped right through him and found himself right next to Janelle, Michael Janelle, the St. Joe's goaltender, and only a good save prevented the Raiders from getting on the board first.
Off the face-off, Reed back to the point. They move a DD, it's intercepted, but Kerwin gets back to back check and pick it up. Turning around, here comes Josh Spanberg, dumping it back in the zone. In behind the net, picked up on the defense by Barry Scott. Scott trying to move it out of the zone. He can't. Spanberg has it. Takes it away from Scott in the corner. Here's Spanberg. Back to the point it goes. Here's DeRocher. Shot. He fanned on it. Didn't get much wood at all. And St. Joe's breaks out of the zone. Here come the Marauders into the Massena zone. Shot fired wide. And that blast was by Gethofer, the fourth line center. So they've got their fourth line out there. Massena, DeRocher can't control it at center ice, has it poke checked away, and the Marauders take it in the zone. That's Jurek. Jurek gets tied up in behind the net. Massena Spanberg picks it up and rips it around the boards. And we have a whistle, and I think we're going to have a penalty.
He hasn't given an indication, but I do agree with you.
He's looking at the St. Joe's guy, and he's looking at
number 16, Henry Jurek.
And looking at him for roughing, I believe.
You mentioned Buffalo with the four lines. They regularly skate 4 units, Jerry, and 3 sets of defense. They like to wear the opposition down, but I don't think that'll have much effect on the Raiders, who in turn can skate 4 lines and 3 or 4 sets of defense.
Okay. We've got B.J. Terry out there with Chad Willard, and on the wing for the first 2 periods will be Adam Blaze. St. Joe's with a puck off the face-off. They try to backhand it in the Massena zone, flip back to the St. Joe's zone, picked up by, let's see here, Logan Windrum, the defenseman. He flips it out to center ice. Frank Joy is there from Massena, passes it ahead across the blue line. Here's Blaze, centering pass in front. Terry, nice backhand shot. The rebound. Blaze gets another good shot off and a couple of good saves.
The Raiders are doing exactly what their game plan they wanted to do. They felt that St. Joe's Club has a tendency to take, after watching last night's game against Niskayuna, taking some unnecessary penalties. They try to assert their authority, and they pick up some unnecessary penalties, and the Raiders were hoping to exploit that via the power play. And I'll tell you, any club that is going to give Massena power play advantages, 1 and 2 man, they're in deep trouble.
Spanberg will take the face-off. He's out there with Reed and David. Off the draw, the puck underneath the centerman is poked free. Spanberg picks it up, goes back to the point. Schneider, back to Spanberg at the 45. Back to Schneider, back to Spanberg. In the corner, we have a whistle. We've got a man in the crease, I believe. Yep, that's what it is. Matt Reed is called for being in the crease. In case, I'm sure the folks have noticed, it's a lot quieter in here tonight. Much smaller crowd than yesterday.
Well, we were in amongst the hometown crowd last night. The Blue Streaks had them packed in here, and it's a sparse crowd here tonight.
Yes, it is.
At least for this game.
Corey David gets mugged and dumped down the ice. The puck goes back into Massena's zone. Frank Joy after it. Joy being forechecked there by Jim Collins. He has the puck poke checked away. This time it's Crozier, but finally Massena controls, but doesn't get it out of their own zone. Dumped right back in. We're down to 30 seconds in the power play. We've seen a couple of chances early in this power play, nothing since. Crozier flips it back out to center ice. And then back to the Massena zone, and it's dumped right back in. Here's Frank Joy with it. Almost got beaten to the puck, but he gets it ahead to David. David flipping for Spanberg to Reed across the blue line. Back in front. Here's David again, the shot. And it went off the defenseman's stick up in behind the net. Good three-way pass play by Massena. But now here comes St. Joe's breaking out with about 5 seconds in the power play. Busting in on the left wing side, a chance in behind the net. And the Massena defenseman, Chad Schneider, does a good job to keep the forward wide. Massena dumping to center ice, picked up again by Thomas Worth, right across into the Massena zone. He goes right down the middle, gets a backhander off, and Garcia makes the save. Not a very hard shot, but a dangerous one. Puck goes out to Reed. He loses it off his stick. St. Joseph's controlling again, trying to move it ahead into the zone. That's Thomas Worth. Worth flips it in the corner. Joy is there for Massena, ripping it around the boards for Schneider, but Buckley gets there first. Now Reed takes it off his stick. Stick handles. Ahead it goes to Corey David. David loses it at the blue line, then pokes it out to center ice, and Reed follows. Here's Matt Reed into the zone, left side, trying to slide through. He gets railed. The puck's going to slide right in on net, and Janal makes a save, and we got another whistle, and we got another penalty for interference. And that's going to go against St. Joseph's as well. And I think Garan is going to get the gate for interference. And again, Massena had really 2 good chances on that power play.
And the last one, just a beautiful three-way pass, as you mentioned, Spanberg to Matt Reed, and he put it right on Corey David's stick in the slot and didn't make any mistake. Got the shot off, knew where it wanted to go, but it hit a stick just prior to getting to the net. And another foolish penalty, this one by St. Joe's. This is the 3rd in a row that they have taken an interference call when the play had gone in behind the net to the other corner. So this is playing right into the Raiders' hands. Coach Tim Long and his staff wanted to see something like this.
Off the face-off, Massena controls in the St. Joe's end. Here's Mike Dion, winds up, slides it right on, and a save made by Mike Janal. And St. Joseph's going to clear it down the ice. It's going to trickle in on Garcia. He plays it in behind. A little bit of miscommunication there between the Massena D and the goalie, and the puck comes out to center ice. Here comes Brian Terry, takes it off the stick. He's got in front the chance for Blaze, and he couldn't get his stick on it. Nice pass by Terry to Blaze in front. Bouncing puck back to the blue line, kept in by Rochford. Rochford trying to slide it through, and Terry couldn't quite get the stick on it. Comes back, and Terry picks it up out by the blue line. Looks to center it in front, and Adam Blaze couldn't quite control it. Controlled by St. Joe's, but Rochford keeps it in. Here's Blaze with it, trying to drop it through to Brian Terry. Terry gets tied up by Majerski in the corner. They bang at it. Hard check thrown by Blaze. The puck comes free. Rochford shot, knocked down in front. Comes to Dion on the other side. Dion gets tied up along the boards. And that's Jim Collins. Finally gets free. We got another penalty in front. And it's going to be, I don't know who it's on. I think St. Joe's. Going to be a slash.
It is a slashing penalty. It's going to go against St. Joe's. This is their 3rd penalty in the row, fourth of the period. But the first one they took was almost a matching. A Raider player went off. But this is just the way that the scenario that Coach Long wanted. He felt that they would pick up some cheap penalties. Watching them last night, Coach Matt Hart and Jovan Marsh predicted this might happen, and it has, and to the Raiders' advantage, although they have not with... Is that 9:05 left or 3?
Yeah,
9:05 left in the first period. Still no score, but the Raiders have come close.
Off the face-off, the puck in the corner. Courier gets tripped up, but it's Terry. Centering past the Bombard. He fired it wide. Had a great opportunity. Back to the point. Ryan Kerwin with it. Kerwin flips it into Courier. Jamie Courier from Massena controlling in the St. Joe's end. Craig Terry in the corner. Back to Courier, 45. Back to Ryan Kerwin. Kerwin flipping. They get a man back. Here comes Terry. Terry out by the blue line, slides it across, knocked down in front. LeBombard, Courier follows, can't get a stick on it, bounces free. LeBombard throws a check. The puck is still sitting in the slot. It bounces around. Now it's underneath some players, and there's a little pushing and shoving going on.
A lot of pushing and shoving. Number
Yeah.
22, Logan Windrum. He's a big one. Well, all their defense are pretty big. He's 6'2", 193 pounds, and really throwing a few elbows out there and piling onto the top of the melee, and that's just going to get him, if he continues in that vein, another penalty. But that time the St. Joe's gained probably about 3 seconds, Jerry. The guy jumped off the bench prior to the man coming out of the penalty box, and it was a good 3-second delay in there. Officials let him get away with it.
Massena wins it back to Joy. Joy goes to Schneider, cracks it up, the shot to save, and holding on for the rebound is Mike Janal. And he had Craig Terry right in his face as he made that save. Craig just waiting for a rebound to pounce on. Still no score in the hockey game with 8:25 left in the first period. On the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, 0-0 tie game. Massena St. Joseph's championship game of the Saratoga tournament. Matt Reed out there to take the face-off. I think that's Buckley. Off the draw, controlled by David. Back to the point. Joy to Schneider in the corner. Corey David. David moving it around. They get it back out to Spanberg. Spanberg at the 45, winds up and misfired on it, but gets it back to Schneider. Schneider flips it in the corner for Reed. Now it goes in behind for Corey David. Here's David with it. Trying to go over to Reed. It bounces away from him, but Spanberg is there to pick it up right side of the goalie. Back to the point. Massena controls Schneider. About 25 seconds left in the power play. Schneider goes to Spanberg. Spanberg skates it. Skates by one. Flips it in behind the net. It's intercepted. And back to the blue line. Here's Schneider winding up his shot. Save made. Puck bounces to Reed. 10 seconds left. Goes back to Joy at the point. Joy flipping in the corner for Corey David. David gets tied up and rubbed along the boards, but stays with it. Flipping it around. Now Matt Reed comes in trying to come up with a puck. As the penalty has elapsed. Massena has the puck side of the net. Reed can't get a piece of it. Finally it comes to David, but he can't control, and St. Joe's is going to move it to the blue line and then out to center ice. Chad Schneider's there to dump it right back in. And they're going to call that icing. That was a pretty fine call as Schneider had one skate on the blue line, but the puck was beyond, or the red line rather, but the puck was behind it. But they do call it icing, and we're halfway through the first period. Still no score in the hockey game. Our broadcast on WMSA is brought to you by Tiffany's Restaurant at 46 Main Street, Massena, by the members of the Seacom Federal Credit Union, 30 Stern Street, Massena, and by Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant. Working together, their quality shines through. St. Joe's wins the draw. Here's a shot knocked down in front by Schneider. He tries to bounce it ahead, and it's still not out of the zone. Kept in there momentarily by Scott, but now Massena controls. Bounding down the ice is Willard, chasing the loose pike. He comes up with it, looks to center, and he's taken out of the play before he can really get a good pass off. Puck rounds the boards. Chad Schneider steps in front, keeps it in for Massena, fires it right across the goal mouth. Now it's Frank Joy in the corner trying to flip it free. It's knocked away from him and bounces out to center ice. Joy racing back in after it. Here's Frank Joy with it in behind his own net now. Gets tied up by the forechecking forward, Kaczynski, and the puck flipped into the corner. Terry with it. Flips it to Joy. Joy slides it around for Willard, left side. Willard in his own end for Massena, trying to control the puck. Massena has it. It's Terry, and he ices it. And we'll have another face-off inside Massena territory with 6:28 left in the first period. Still no score in the hockey game. Face-off will move back inside Massena territory to the left of goaltender Brian Garcia. Our broadcast also brought to you by the Village Engraver at 80 Parker Avenue in Massena, by the North Country Savings Bank, 22 Phillips Street in Massena, and by Massena Building Supply, 70 Water Street, Massena. Face-off left side inside Massena territory, and it's going to be Gethofer out there with Mirzwa and Jurek for St. Joseph's. Craig Terry to take the face-off for the Massena Red Raiders. Off the draw, bouncing puck in the circle, picked up by Jamie Currier. Going to leave it for Mike Dion. Dion flips it over on the other side. P.J. Rochford, his head man out to center ice. LeBombard to Craig Terry. Terry trying to poke it by the defenseman, but that's Scott, and he moves it ahead for St. Joseph's. Marauders control the puck now as they move it in the zone. Jurek takes it across right in the middle of the slot, but it's picked up by P.J. Rochford from Massena. Rochford trying to get by the defenseman, flips it off the boards to Currier. Jamie Currier moves to Terry. Terry trying to get by the defenseman. He gets by the defenseman, going after the puck in the corner, gets railed into the boards, but Currier is there to pick up the puck. And in fact, he pushed him right through the boards. The glass came out, and he's okay, Craig Terry. But I guess the door is there, and the door opened up, and holy cow. They didn't close the door very well, apparently. Face-off will be inside St. Joseph's territory. LaPointe will take the draw for Massena. LaPointe out there with Currier and LeBombard. We're seeing a few different combinations this evening. As Matt Woodward, we're not going to see him until the third period. We're given to understand a little disciplinary proceedings. So we'll be seeing him later. Here comes St. Joseph's into the Massena zone. In behind the net. Raiders try to come up with it and rip it around the boards. It's controlled by the Marauders, though. Dion trying to tie it up for Massena. It still moves along the boards out by the blue line, now into the corner. Here's a chance in front. It's knocked away by P.J. Rochford, and he skates it out to center ice. P.J. across the red line, drops the pass, goes by everybody. Here comes a breakaway for St. Joe's. Caccianiti, here comes Caccianiti in the net, and he scores! Caccianiti gets the goal, and a Massena giveaway at neutral ice results in a St. Joseph's goal, and that was a big, bad mistake.
Not only a giveaway, but it was also the caught Massena on a line change. The play started to go up the ice, and they started to change their defensive pairings. In fact, they only had, they were missing a player on the ice, and Caccianiti had picked up the errant pass right at center ice and had a breakaway right from center ice on in. He came in, faked that he was going to go upstairs, and then put the deke, went to the backhand, and beat Brian Garcia. And that's only the third shot that St. Joseph had on goal.
Off the faceoff. The Marauders control. St. Joseph's dumping it in the Massena zone, but we're going to have an offsides. And a face-off back out front. 5:14 left in the first period. On the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, it's St. Joseph's 1, Massena no score. A breakaway goal for Chad Caccianiti. Matt Reed out to take the draw for Massena. Off the face-off, it's controlled by St. Joseph's. Breaking in there is Crozier trying to center it. DeRocher's there to break it up. He controls the puck and starts it out. The thing I noticed about St. Joseph's, they don't put on much forecheck pressure. At least they haven't yet. Either that or Massena's breaking out a little bit better than they did last night. Kerwin with the puck, sliding it into the zone. Nice move by David. Takes it in the corner. He's got Reed in front, and a sprawling, blocking defenseman made a good play. That was DiGiulio. DiGiulio made a great play to break it up. We have a whistle, and we're going to have a penalty on Massena, I believe. A holding call. And who's going to get it? Corey David, perhaps? That happened down in the corner, and right after a collision, apparently a little bit of a clutch by Corey David. He gets the gate, and now Massena will have to see if they can kill off a power play by St. Joseph's. Matt Reed coming out, Josh Spanberg, Ryan Kerwin, and Derek DeRocher. It's going to be Buckley out there for St. Joseph's to take the face-off. Scott and Worth are his two wingers. Off the draw, the puck goes in the St. Joe's end. Out there on defense, DiGiulio and Windrum. DiGiulio with the puck now for St. Joseph's, drops it to Windrum. Windrum takes it across now, looking to move in the zone. Here's a shot. It deflects off a body out back by the blue line. Somebody blocked that. Windrum trying to keep it in. He does. Puck bounces into the corner. Picked up there by Buckley. Buckley and Kerwin go together. Buckley still has the puck in behind. Now DeRocher picks him up in the corner. Puts the body on, ties him up for a few moments. Puck taken away. Bounces free to Matt Reed. Reed kicks it ahead to the blue line and starts out. Here's Reed just flipping it to the St. Joe's line. St. Joseph's coming back the other way. Into the zone. Here's Larry Scott setting up. Drops it back to the point. The shot is blocked. They bounce it free. It comes to the blue line, poked away, bouncing around. Nobody seems to control it. It comes to Scott finally. His pass is momentarily blocked by Reed, but gets back to the point to DiGiulio. Over on the other side, here's the shot. Bouncing high in the air right in front, and Garcia made a good play to knock it into the corner. We got an injured player on the ice for St. Joseph's in front of the net, and I was watching the puck, didn't see what happened, but he is down on the ice. Ouch. Looks like he's hurt.
Gary Donaldson thought he jumped in the air and tried to knock the puck down. He lost his edge when he came down, and he might have either twisted his back, but he's in seems in a lot of discomfort out there.
3:37 remaining in the first period. 23 seconds remain in the St. Joe's power play. St. Joe's leading by a 1-0 score here, although I've got to say, Dave, Massena's had the better part of play.
Yes, they have. At one point, they had outshot St. Joe's 9-1, and of course, a lot of that attributed to the 3 penalties that St. Joe's had taken in a row, but no question the overall play has been Massena's edge right here in this first period, but they do trail on the scoreboard.
A 1-0 score on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard. He's up. It looks like he's going to be okay. See if I can pick up who that is. He's taking it easy all the way back to the bench.
Might be Buckley.
Yep, I think it is. Tom Buckley, the big centerman on that first line. And he is trying to skate it off a little bit as he goes back to the bench. And it's good to see when a kid goes down hurt like that, good to see him get back up and make it under his own power back to the bench. Face-off will be outside the zone as Brian Terry will take it from Massena. Off the draw, it's Kochanowski. He can't cross the blue line as it's poked away by Willard. Now they go over on the other side, trying to move it in the zone. That's DiGiulio. DiGiulio gets tied up and gets away with it. He gets tied up in the corner again, still controlling the puck. Finally, it's knocked away and out to center ice. And racing back after it will be Cressetta. Now he leaves it in behind the net. And the penalty has elapsed. Massena's back to full strength. Did a good job killing that penalty. St. Joseph's really didn't have much of a chance except that one that bounced high in the air in front of the net. Now the puck still in the zone, finally out to center ice. Right there to pick it up is Blaze, and he dumps it right back inside St. Joseph's territory. Terry after it, can't catch up with it, bounces free, off a leg, all the way down the ice. And I think that's going to be an icing call against the Marauders with 2:49 remaining in the first period. St. Joe's leading Massena on a score of 1-0.
I think St. Joe's is somewhat surprised out here by the spring in the Raiders' legs. They thought they might have, after yesterday's grueling win over Saratoga, they might have be a half step slow. But in this first period, the Raiders are, in fact, a half step faster than they were last night. They're really skating out there, and I think this is a big surprise to the St. Joe's club.
Massena's playing very well so far, despite the fact they're trailing one big mistake. It was, as you mentioned, a giveaway and a line change, and it cost them a goal. But, you know, when you got a good team like St. Joseph's, they take advantage of things like that. Puck goes into the Massena zone, picked up by big Craig Terry. Rips it around the boards. LaBombard stops it in his skate, circles back, looks up ice, is going to drop it back to Mike Dion. Dion moves it ahead. Terry with it, has it knocked away. The Marauders back into the Massena zone. Here's a shot way wide. Bounces in behind, hits the side of the net now. Where is the puck? It's in the corner. Massena moving it ahead. Here's Craig Terry. Terry down on Barry Scott, and Scott takes him out of the play, and the forward comes back to pick up the puck and rips it around the boards. Puck bounces to the blue line. P.J. Rochford trying to keep it in. It's knocked away. Here comes St. Joe's with a 2-on-1. They bust in there. The shot. Save made Garcia. Rebound. And another save by Garcia. And he holds on. Good play by Brian Garcia. And the second St. Joe's forward could have had a goal, but he went in too far. Got caught in too deep. And I don't know where Massena defenseman was. Didn't pick him up.
2-on-1 situation. Bill Gothoffer decided to shoot the puck, but a good job by the Massena defenseman as he played it exactly right and left the puck handler to the goaltender, Brian Garcia, and was able to make the save on the short side. But again, a pinch down by the Massena defenseman and lost it and created the 2-on-1.
Off the face-off. Puck in the Massena zone. Here's Corey David with it. Trying to knock it into Kerwin. Kerwin gets tied up and gets away. Here's Kerwin, rips it around the boards, and it comes to the blue line, kept in at the point nicely. Now it's bounced ahead by DeRocher. Nice play, and here comes Spanberg. 3-on-2. Oh, a hand pass.
Good call. Yes, it was. Brian DeRocher used the smart move. There was the bouncing puck and was up in the air, and he wasn't going to take a chance of dropping it back down to his feet with two maroon shirts on him, so he just batted ahead, and it got through everybody, didn't hit anyone until it was finally touched by a Raider.
Off the faceoff, Reed trying to win the draw. St. Joe's picks it up. Here's a backhander. Garcia makes the save, the rebound. Oh, Reed gets back and saved one there. We have a whistle. I think the net got knocked off, and that's what the reason for the whistle. Yeah. Ooh, big chance for St. Joseph's there with 1:31 left in the first period. And on the Peach Jewelers scoreboard, it is 1-0 for the Marauders.
Brian Garcia made the save. Good save on the initial drive, and Brian Majerski did not hustle in for that rebound until after it was laying free. If he would have been skating, he had a wide open net.
Off the faceoff, puck in behind, controlled by DeRocher. Flips it in the corner. Collins is there, loses it to Spanberg. Spanberg to Reed out to center ice. Dumped right back in the zone of Massena. Garcia way out of his net to play it ahead for Corey David. David moves to Reed, and Reed couldn't quite catch the pass. And the puck bounces away from him and is picked up on the defense by Dan Toole. Toole rides it around the boards, comes out to center ice. Corey David is there. Has it poke checked away. DeRocher flipping it in. That'll be an icing. Oh, they waved that one off. That was worse than the other one. Here's Spanberg in behind the net. David centering pass to Reed right in front. It bounces right on. And I don't think that went off Reed. I think it went off the defenseman of St. Joe's. And anyway, the goaltender, Mike Janal, has it and holds on for the faceoff with just under a minute to play in this first period.
Good hustle by number 9, Corey David, and a little extracurricular activity after the play. Again, this St. Joe's club, they like to be, push their weight around a little bit. Big Tommy Buckley, the injured Marauder, just a few seconds ago back on the ice, and he was going to exercise his 6'2", 205, and Mr. Corey David stepped in there and said, no, you're not. And Tommy Buckley decided discretion's the better part of valor right there.
Brian Terry will take the face-off. Terry out there with Willard and LaBombard. Off the draw, puck in the corner, picked up by the defenseman DeGiulio. He flips it along the boards, and St. Joe's breaks it to center ice. Right there is Joy to dump it right back in, and it trickles off a defenseman's stick right on, the save made by Janal. Puck around the boards, so it goes all the way out to center ice. Chad Schneider with it, turns it around, flips it ahead. Into the zone it goes. It's going to be an offsides, delay offsides, but Massena controls. LaBombard clears it to center ice. Comes to the St. Joe's blue line. It's intercepted. Here comes Terry. Drop pass for LaBombard. Busting in on the right side. His shot. Score! Brian LaBombard, and Massena has tied it up 1-1. A beautiful goal by LaBombard.
And Tim DeGiulio, one of their veteran big defensemen, made a drastic mistake. Had the puck in the neutral zone and passed it along the boards to a wide open teammate, and then decided to jump. He left his right defensive post, jumped up into the play. He thought it was going to be a break for the Marauders, but his wing didn't control it. The Massena Raiders picked it up down the ice. They went 2-on-1, and Brian LaBombard did not make any mistake. He ripped one low to the glove side of Mike Janal, and we have a 1-1 game with 25 seconds left in the period.
Off the face-off, puck controlled by Massena. They continue to win face-offs. Willard flips it in the zone, rips in behind the net with 18 seconds. Picked up on the defense by Guerin, stolen away from him by Terry. Terry has it knocked off the stick, then gets it back again. Terry in front, LaBombard. Oh, save. Rebound right across the goal mouth. Bounces in front, LaBombard. Another shot. He fired it high over the open net. Oh, and the puck tied up in behind. Massena still controls. LaBombard can't get the shot off, and the buzzer sounds. Oh, big flurry by Massena. And I'll tell you what, they did a great job putting on a lot of good pressure that time. And the Raiders have tied this game, and I'll tell you what, they've looked good in that first period.
The St. Joe's Marauders haven't been under pressure like this in a long time. I'll tell you, I don't know what they felt coming in here undefeated in 2 years, but they've got a tiger by the tail here this afternoon, or they should say this evening, and they know it as they skate off. A very entertaining first period, goodly, wide, I won't say wide, but definitely a majority of advantage for the Raiders. They capitalized on some power plays. As far as open ice, weren't able to dent the twine on those power plays, but we're down 1-0 to just 25 seconds left in the period until Brian LaBombard tied it up. But a good period for the Raiders.
Isolation and championship the next afternoon. Brian Terry stepping into the face-off circle against Bill Cressetta, and we're about ready to go. Off the draw, face-off control by the Raiders. Here's Kerwin banging it in the zone, and got a delayed offsides on Massena. But St. Joseph's clears it, and they Kachanidi into the zone. Knocked away from him, back out to center ice. It comes to Windrum. He flips it off the glass to the Massena blue line. DeRocher's there to flip it ahead. Terry can't quite catch up with it. It's dumped to the Massena line again. Terry dropping it for DeRocher. DeRocher is going to go to Kerwin in his own end. Here's Kerwin flipping it ahead. Willard has it taken away, but the puck bounces free into St. Joseph's territory. They're going to ice it, but it doesn't get out of the zone. It bounced off a player into Blair. Back to the blue line. Kerwin shot. Ooh, just wide. Rebound picked up in behind by Chad Willard. Willard trying to go back to the point. We got a man in the crease, and the faceoff moved outside the zone. That was Chad Willard in the crease.
Young man down to our front, returning to his vantage spot to watch the game, walking along the dasher and next to the dasher, and just then a puck was shot up against it, and I'll tell you, it probably scared him. I know it scared him, and reduced 6 months of his life was taken off. He jumped about 6 inches.
Okay, Craig Terry coming out to take the face-off. He'll be out there with, let's see here, Jamie Courier and Brian LaBombard. And taking the face-off, Buckley off the draw. Courier flips it inside St. Joe's territory. Mike Murphy, the big defenseman, back after it. Taken away by Craig Terry and knocks Terry down. The puck is underneath him, and it trickles free and comes to the blue line and out to center ice. Schneider's there to flip it back in the zone. Comes in behind, picked up by Murphy again, the big defenseman for St. Joe's. Trying to hit the 45. Hard check thrown by Terry, and the puck bounces free in behind to Murphy again. He rips it along the boards, kept in by Frank Joy at the point. Here's Joy with it, dumping it in the corner. Murphy's going to come up with it again in the corner for St. Joe's. He's going to try the other side now. LaBombard streaking in the corner after. From Massena, centering pass to Terry in front. Terry trying to cross ice pass to Courier. He gets knocked down. The puck kicks free, and Murphy picks it up. Puck to the blue line, and finally out to center ice, and we got a 2-on-1. Schneider, the lone man back. LaBombard racing in. trying to get it, and the shot and the save made. I don't know if that was on net or not, but it may have been. And Garcia grabs it and holds on for the face-off. And Chad Schneider played that one very well.
And a great job by Brian Garcia. And I think it was on the net, breaking in. Lawrence and Crossetti breaking in on a 2-on-1. And Crossetti elected to shoot because, as you mentioned, the defense had played so well. He was going up to that top corner, up in the glove hand, and Brian Garcia, just a big save. I'll tell you, you can just see the Raiders' confidence just growing by leaps and bounds as this game goes on, and the opposite to St. Joe's.
Off the face-off, puck in the corner, in the Massena zone. Trying to come up with it there are the Marauders. In behind the net is Collins. Collins gets tied up. The puck is at the side of the net, and Garcia says, well, enough of this. We'll cover it up and hold on for the face-off.
Getting back to that point I was trying to make is that at the beginning of the game, you could just almost the air of confidence from St. Joe's, but that has eroded quite a bit here early in the second period.
Face-off inside Massena territory. Off the draw. Here's the drive, and it's blocked. Ouch. The puck sits in the circle, and it just bounces around, and finally Reed comes up with it, moves it to the blue line, but not out of there. The bouncing puck knocked away again. This time, Corey David can't get it out. Following up is Spanberg, and he'll take it to center ice. Looks for Reed. Reed kicks it ahead, has it knocked away. Comes to PJ. PJ Rochford across the blue line, knocked off his stick. Spanberg and Rochford. Rochford picking it up again for Massena. To Reed. Nice pass in the zone. Here's Spanberg, winds the shot. The save made. David goes after the rebound, can't come up with it. Comes in behind the net. Here's Spanberg again. Trying to drop it back to the point. To Dion. Back in behind for Corey David to Spanberg, side of the net. Looking to move it in behind, and he gets tied up, and the puck gets away from him, and the Marauders move it, but not out. Reed keeps it in. Reed has it knocked off his stick, and finally Collins moves it ahead to center ice, and the Marauders dump it from center, and it's right on, and Garcia flips it ahead. Massena might have a break here. Spanberg busting down with Reed. Here's Spanberg to Reed in front, and a bouncing puck. He couldn't get a stick on it. Willard in behind the net to Reed. Oh, Reed just got checked. The puck gets away, and St. Joe's comes up with it. Here come the Marauders, moving it down to the Massena blue line. Ryan Kerwin is back for it. Turns it around. Skates by the streaking forward. Doesn't clear the zone, though. Now it's poked away. Comes to Willard. Willard's got Spanberg, and he leads them too far. And it's going to be an icing call. Nope, they wave it off. Why, I don't know. And the puck comes in behind the net. DeJulio picking it up. Headman, does it get out? It gets out. We got a 2-on-1 again for St. Joseph's. In the zone. And a nice sprawling block by DeRocher breaks up the play before he even gets a shot. Now the puck in behind the net. B.J. Terry around the boards for Willard. Willard looks up. Doesn't get it out of the... Yeah, it does bounce out to center ice. St. Joe's trying to move it ahead. Here comes Brian Terry across the blue line for Massena. Gets a shot off. Fired it wide. Bouncing puck to Rocher at the point. Flips it in the corner. Rips around the boards for Chad Willard. Willard in the corner looking. Goes back to Kerwin at the point. Here's Kerwin. Fakes, then goes into the behind the net with a pass. Terry can't quite come up with it. Picking it up is Toole, the big defenseman, and he starts it out. Oh, boy, he got railed. Great check there. And the puck comes in behind the net. Garcia plays it around the boards. Controlled again by St. Joseph's. That's Caccianiti, but he's taken out of the play by Brian Terry. Terry to Blaze. Blaze for Massena. Long head man pass. Here comes Lapointe chasing it down. Takes it in and loses his edge and goes into the boards, but he gets right back up. He's okay. Puck picked up on the defense by St. Joseph's as they're a little bit bottled up in their own end. Puck stolen by LeBombard. LeBombard gets tied up, looks to center. It's back to the blue line and dumped out to center ice. And we got a delayed penalty on somebody. It's going to be on St. Joseph's, I believe, and Massena could have picked one up too.
I think it's going to be on the Raiders.
Okay.
I think he's going to call maybe Brian Terry for a hook. We'll wait and see. I could be wrong on that, but I'll tell you, you mentioned a great hit out there. Mike Lapointe jumped off the bench and just nailed the St. Joe's defenseman who didn't see him coming. Mike isn't that big, but he packs a good solid 160. And he just drilled. No penalty on that?
No,
okay.
It was an icing, I guess.
Okay. Could have been a penalty right down here to
right in front of us.
Craig Terry, no question. But they neglected to not call it.
I'm still not used to these referees. They're a little different than we're used to, and that looked like a penalty call to me. Craig Terry out to take the face-off for the Raiders. Still 1-1 tie hockey game on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Here's Courier. Can't get the shot off, and it's out to center ice. Here comes Worth. Poke checked away. LeBombard backhands it in the zone. It's Barry Scott back out to center ice. Joy dumps it right back in. Got delay off sides. He almost got Terry with that shot. but it bounces free, and Terry goes after it. Here's Craig Terry, gets tripped up. The puck comes free, and is picked up there on the defense. And out to center ice is Tom Buckley. Frank Joy pokes it away. Puck along the boards right in front of the St. Joe's bench, just outside their zone. Now it's dumped back out to center ice. Here's Chad Schneider flipping it ahead. That'll be an icing on Massena. And the whistle blows, and with 9:35 left in period number 2, we're still tied at 1, St. Joseph's and Massena on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
Regardless of the outcome of this game, we're halfway through the second period, 1-1 hockey game. And not saying that St. Joe's didn't come in here with a lot of respect for Massena, state champions, but I know they're going to leave with a lot more respect because the Raiders are certainly living up to their potential and just playing a super game up to this point.
Off the faceoff, puck in the circle. P.J. Rochford trying to kick it free. It does kick free. It goes to the winger for St. Joe's. In behind the net, Rochford trying to poke it. Here's a shot right on, and Garcia had to be quick on that. And that was a real sharp angle shot, but it didn't look like he was going to get it off, and he did. And a good save by Brian Garcia.
Smart move by the St. Joe's forward. Again, that was a giveaway. Somehow he picked up the puck given to him to the right at a sharp angle, got it away in a hurry, but good save by Garcia.
Off the faceoff, here's a shot. Garcia makes the save. Puck in the corner. Garcia a little bit out of his net, but Reed has the puck. Reed flips to David. Goes a little bit by him out to center ice. David trying to follow. Dumped right back in the Massena zone. Bounces to the blue line. Spanberg backhand center ice. Dumped right back in by St. Joseph's. Puck rides the boards. Kept in by, let's see here, Crozier to the blue line. Here's a drive, and it's gloved by Garcia, and he's going to cover up and hold on for the faceoff. This is the most pressure St. Joe's has had on for quite a while. 8:56 remaining in the second period, still tied at 1. St. Joe's scored first in the first period. Massena came back and tied it in the final minute of play, and they've been playing very well here in the second period, although the shot margin has gotten a little bit closer, 13-12. Brian Terry out there to face off against Cressette. Off the draw, here's a shot in behind the net. Derek DeRocher after it, ahead to Blaze. Blaze backhands to Terry. Long rink-wide pass. Racing for it is Willard. Willard comes up with it, takes it in behind, hits the side of the net. Tried to get the pass in front, but it went on the side of the net, and goaltender Mike Janal will hold on for the faceoff. The draw will come to the right side of Janal in the St. Joseph's end. Our broadcast on WMSA brought to you by North Country Savings Bank at 22 Phillips Street in Massena, by Massena Building Supply, 70 Water Street, by Paris Environmental Control Corporation on the Winthrop Road in Massena. Off the faceoff, puck rounds the boards. DeRocher can't keep it in. It bounces to the red line. Picked up by Willard. He's going to turn it around, flipping it across the blue line. It trickles in on net, and left there, Janal leaves it for his defenseman. Whoa. Big check in behind the net, and the puck bounces around. Adam Blaze got the worst of that one, and he's going off the ice now. Out to center ice, DeRocher stops it, winds up, dumps it right back in the zone again of St. Joseph's. Back to pick it up, defenseman Garon. He flips it around the boards, doesn't clear the zone, but it's picked up on the center, and moving out to center ice is Dan Toole. His pass doesn't get through. Back into the St. Joseph's zone. St. Joe's controlling. That's Garon. He bounces it back out to center ice, right back in, and moves it ahead to center ice once again. Puck bouncing into the Massena zone. Here's Caccianiti. His shot is blocked by DeRocher, and Massena controls. Craig Terry. Terry's going to split the D. Here's Terry breaking in. He gets hauled down from behind, and we are going to have a penalty on St. Joseph's for hooking. Pretty obvious penalty on Barry Scott.
Craig Terry being hauled down from behind, but that'll come with experience. He's got Craig jumped, had a wide opening. They split the defense, and he's got to learn to turn on the jets. When he got a half a step behind that defense, he kind of slowed down, trying to steady himself for the shot, but he had a long way, another 55 feet to go. He's got to really accelerate through there, and he would have been home free and wouldn't have given the St. Joe's defenseman time to pull him down.
7:37 remaining. Massena goes on the power play again. Spanberg will take the draw against Buckley. Off the faceoff, the Marauders control and dump it down the ice. P.J. Rochford racing back in after it from Massena. Rochford in behind his own net. And he's going to leave it for Matt Reed. And Reed starts it out, kind of overskated it. Trying to move it ahead, and he's going to have to drop it back to Rochford, who goes back to Reed. And Massena's Reed can't catch up with it. dumps to the blue line. Here's Rochford. Ahead to Reed. Reed goes to Spanberg. Here's Spanberg dropping to Reed. Reed out by the blue line trying to flip it through. It's knocked away. They got a man breaking, but they're not going to get it to him. P.J. Rochford to Reed. Reed gets tied up at the blue line, then gets knocked down. Puck comes to Rochford over on the other side. Here comes Corey David. Offsides the call on Massena, and Massena having a little problem going in this power play.
I think one of the things that the Raider coaching staff would like to see early on in the season, if they had their druthers right now and try to prevent, is sometimes at all stages of the game, preventing the opposition from getting those 2-on-1s, getting the opposition forwards, finding their way in behind the Raider defense. And it happened there just a second ago, but the pass was a little off target.
Off the face-off. Puck control by Josh Spanberg. He drops it to Mike Dion. Dion bangs it ahead for Corey David. Nice pass to Reed. Reed busts across. He doesn't shoot it. He's going to drop it back to P.J. Rochford. His shot just wide. Puck in the back of the mesh. Picked up again. Bouncing in front, Spanberg. David just gets railed. There's another penalty on St. Joseph's, I think. Yeah, a charge. Oh, my goodness. Corey David just got nailed from behind, and he's still down on the ice, but I think he's just waiting for the St. Joe's player to get off him, and that's going to give Massena a two-man advantage for, about 20 seconds.
That combination of Reed, David, and Spanberg have really been on the mark here tonight. They've been setting each other up with some beautiful plays. That time it was Corey David with a behind-the-back pass that he saw Matt Reed send Josh Spanberg in a little while ago. He tried it and sent Matt in, and just a beautiful play. And Raiders came within an eyelash of breaking this 1-1 tie.
Puck will be dropped just inside the blue line, off the draw, controlled by St. Joseph's, out to center ice. No, it didn't get out. Kept in nicely by Frank Joy. Now Schneider banging for it, flips in the corner, but the Marauders get it out to center ice. Joy almost was able to keep it in, but then lost it. Here's Chad Schneider flipping it ahead for LeBombard. LeBombard skates, winds up, his shot, save made. Puck bounces in behind, picked up there by Willard. Willard banging at it in front. LeBombard scores! LeBombard gives Massena the lead on the power play. The Raiders lead it on a score of 2-1.
Chad Willard picking up the puck in behind the St. Joe's net. Came out like a pesty gnat. He was all around the St. Joe's goaltender. Whacked at it once, whacked at it twice, and then two or three players falling down. And then that sniper, number 17, Brian LeBombard, darted in from the left side, picked up the loose puck, and had the presence of mind like all good hockey players and good scorers. He didn't just let it go. He looked, and he found just the top corner upstairs, and that's where he put it, up over Janalt's shoulders.
So Massena takes a 2-1 lead here in the second period. Puck off the face-off, goes down ice. They're going to call that icing because it came from the wrong side of the red line, so icing on St. Joseph's will move the face-off back in their end. The Raiders lead for the first time in the game, 2-1.
And again, Brian LeBombard picked that puck up, and a lot of bodies falling in front of the St. Joe's goaltender. Janalt was down, and LeBombard looking all the way, and he wristed one at a real tough angle, got it up and just in under the crossbar. Just a beautiful shot by Brian LeBombard.
Matt Reed will take the face-off against Tom Buckley in the St. Joseph's end to the left of Janal. Off the draw, St. Joseph's wins that one. Buckley flips it out to center ice. Kerwin trying to come up with it. It's taken in by Larry Scott at the blue line. Then Scott moves it through. And now stolen away by Spanberg. Ooh, he just got tripped. St. Joe's just dodged the bullet there. They try to center. Knocked away Reed. Headman to Spanberg. Spanberg has it knocked away, and it bounces up into the St. Joe's bench, and we'll have a face-off with 5:36 remaining in the second period. The Raiders are leading on a score of 2-1 here on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
Brian LeBombard, his second of the night and fourth of the year. Chad Willard picking up the assist at the 9-minute mark.
LeBombard had a goal in last night's game. After a bit of a scoring drought, he's starting to put that puck in the net, and that's what Massena needs. Puck dumped deep in St. Joe's territory. Racing in after it is Spanberg. Spanberg rips it around the boards for Corey David. David in the corner now. Looks to go back to the blue line. Here's Kerwin's shot. Ooh, deflected just over the crossbar. That didn't miss by much. And the Marauders try to clear the zone. Kept in DeRocher's shot. Ooh, blocked by the defenseman. Bounces to the blue line. Kerwin can't keep it in. Here comes St. Joseph's Tom Buckley. Buckley and Reed. Buckley gets by right across the goal mouth. and Massena's going to take it in behind the net, Kerwin. And Kerwin flips it free. It goes underneath a player who falls down, and it's under a St. Joe's player, so they're going to move it out to center ice with a face-off.
It's under Tom Buckley, who was sprawled on the ice. A good individual effort by Buckley, who busted down that right side and beat his check and beat the Raider defenseman, and then just laid the puck across the crease, but his line mate on that side, I think it was Worth, could not get his stick on it. Good try by Buckley and a good effort by St. Joe's.
Okay, let's see here. Mike Lapointe is going to center LeBombard now. And Courier. Mike Dion flips it ahead. No, it didn't get out to center ice. Dion has to come back after it again. Now Courier comes back, takes the puck, starts to skate it ahead to Dion. Dion crosses the red line. It's going to be an icing call. These guys have got to learn they're not giving him anything at all at the red line, as he was just about a half a stride away from the red line when he flipped it, and that is an icing call, and they're calling that very tight.
Again, this St. Joe's club rated #1 for a lot of the last season, and only one loss in 2 years, and they know they've got a real tough opponent. They've been waiting to play, quoting Coach John Mickler, waiting to play Massena for over a year. Well, they're realizing their dream, and they've got their hands full.
Off the faceoff, Gethofer wins the draw, goes back to the point, dumped in behind the net. Garcia's way out of his net again to rip it around the boards to Lapointe, and Lapointe moves it to center ice. Here comes Courier, or Lapointe rather, and Lapointe has it poke checked away at the blue line. Oh, there's a penalty on Lapointe, and that's going to be a cross check. Very, very obvious penalty, and not a very smart one there for Lapointe.
Yeah, Mike Lapointe trying to impress the coaching staff. He's a youngster, only a sophomore, who threw a big check out there a couple of shifts ago. That time Raiders came up with a 3-on-2, and he had number 17 Brian LeBombard open on that right side, and he elected to make an extra move, and he lost the puck. And in his frustration, he turned, and as the play went the other way, cross-checked the St. Joe's player. And Coach Long is talking to him now, and I'm sure he's mentioning that it's not the penalty. I think he's trying to say to him, you got to, watch your winger on that far side.
So Massena will have to try to kill a penalty. Crossetta's line out there for St. Joe's. They flip it in the Massena zone. P.J. Rochford there to pick it up and crank it. Doesn't get it out of the zone. Here's the pass in the slot, bouncing around. Rochford is there. He backhands it down the ice. Good effort by P.J. Rochford to break that play up. Goaltender Janal is handling the puck, flips it over on the defense. Or no, that's Buckley. Buckley drops it on the other side, and St. Joe starts it out. Buckley with it. Flipping it ahead. Goes to Larry Scott. He takes it across. Still has it in the corner. Looks to center. It goes bouncing across the goal mouth and into the corner. Back to the blue line. Here's a shot. And Garcia got a piece of it. Puck picked up in the corner. St. Joe's controlling. Around the boards it goes. Crosetta. And it's poke checked away, and down the ice it goes again, with 40 seconds left in the power play. Janal way out of his net to play it ahead once more. Here comes St. Joseph's, moving out of the zone. They take it into the Massena zone, and the bouncing puck controlled by Caccianiti, and he gets a shot on, and Garcia will make the save. I don't know if it was on net, but Garcia covered it up and holds on for the faceoff. 28 seconds left in the power play, 3:21 in the period, and on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, Raiders lead it 2-1.
Brian Garcia been called upon to make 13 saves in this game so far, and has looked sharp up to this point. Into the game, very quick, very agile. We mentioned what a good skater is and what a good handles that puck exceptionally well, and you can tell that he is really into the game.
Faceoff will be in the Massena zone. Matt Reed out to take the draw against Tom Buckley. Faceoff right side of Garcia. Off the draw. Bouncing puck back to the blue line. And bouncing into the corner. Controlled by the St. Joe's Marauders. They move it around the outside. Back to the point again. They go over on the other side. Bounces into the corner. Frank Joy tries to throw a check in behind. It comes free. Here's a guy back to the point. They flip it in the corner again. Moving it around the horn. Here's an opportunity for Buckley. He threw the pass away, and Massena moves down the ice. It trickles into the St. Joe's zone. Janal is out to play it to the blue line and out to center ice. Buckley and David go together. David throws a check. The penalty is up, and Massena's killed it off. Now it comes to the Massena line. Frank Joy is there, banging it ahead. Into the St. Joseph's line. Back out to neutral ice. Nobody seems to want to control it right at this moment. Now finally St. Joe's picking up the loose puck. It's Worth. Across the blue line for Scott. Scott slides one right on, and Garcia covers up and makes the save.
I had to make a quick comment on the St. Joe's power play. They come out of their zone well, and once they gain the zone, they move the puck around, but they don't shoot it. I think they'd be a little more effective if they unleashed the shot a little more, and they are all good shooters. 90% of this club can really shoot the puck. Coach Long was concerned about that prior to the game, but here in this game tonight, they haven't shot that much.
Off the faceoff, here's the shot. Garcia makes the save. The rebound bounces side of the net. It's still in behind. Finally, it's cleared into the corner by Massena. Puck out to the blue line. David flips it to center ice. Back after it there is Barry Scott for St. Joseph's. His pass intercepted by Spanberg. Goes to Reed. Reed takes it across. Fakes. Now he slides it. Doesn't get it through to the goal. And the bouncing puck is out to center ice. Here comes St. Joe's again across the blue line. And the drive, and it's fired wide. Puck bounces into the corner. Reed coming back, trying to catch up with it for Massena. Puck still moving along the boards. Schneider is in there digging for it. Now Spanberg comes back to help out. Comes up with a puck, flips it in behind. Garcia out of his net again to clear it into the corner. Puck bouncing free. Reed has it. Reed steps by a check and starts it out. Long headman pass goes by everybody. They wave the icing off as somebody touched it on the way through. Massena's going to make a line change. St. Joe's controlling in their own end. Terry steps in front of the pass. It bounces to the blue line, and we're going to have a carrying the puck call on St. Joseph's in a face-off in the St. Joe's end. We're down to 1:17 left in period number 2. The Massena Red Raiders are leading the St. Joe's Marauders on a score of 2-1 on the Corky's Collision scoreboard.
And just a little hometown touch. We didn't realize it yesterday, but the gentleman who dropped the official face-off was Timmy Ellis, a former Massena resident, married to Hazel Cook, who is from Massena. I think daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Richard Cook.
Okay, well, hello to the Cooks if you're listening. Here's Kerwin. A shot and the save made right in the pads. Now Blaze trying to dig it out of the corner. It goes around the boards. Brian Terry steps into the fray. It's picked up, though, by Cressetta. He rips it around on the other side. And St. Joe's will start. Circling around, still some good forechecking by Massena. St. Joe's gets it to center ice. Kerwin is there to rip it around the boards again. Whistles into the corner, picked up by Blaze, and he can't control. It's back out to center ice. We have a whistle. We got an injured player down again for St. Joe's. And I did not see that happen either. It happened behind the play.
I didn't either, Jerry. Right in front of the Raider bench, just about 5 feet inside the blue line. As we mentioned here in the Saratoga Ice Arena, the stands are on the south side where we're broadcasting from, and on the north side is the both players' benches and the penalty box, and that happened right in front of the Massena bench, and the St. Joe's trainers out there now can't pick up the number. It seems to be in the stomach or groin area. He possibly lost his wind. Yep, it is. I think it's his wind.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. He's just lifting up one leg. Gary Donaldson thinks it might be possibly a hamstring.
Ooh.
The way that the trainer is tending to him. Can't find the number on it, but 44 and 8/10 seconds left in the second period here at the Saratoga tournament, and we've been treated to some outstanding hockey, and this game is no exception. The Raiders have really come to play here like they did last night, and
okay, he's up. Well, that's good. Good news.
Number 6, Dan Toole. Dan plays, he's a big defenseman, 6'1", 202-pound senior.
Faceoff will be back inside St. Joe's territory. Now the officials are over talking to the Massena bench, but I think he's just over there at the blue line. I don't think he's talking to you about anything specific. But anyway, the faceoff will be top of the circle inside the St. Joseph end to the left of goaltender Mike Janal.
Speaking of Hazel Cook, Timmy Ellis's wife, she mentioned that she didn't know who that older fellow was broadcasting with you, Jerry. I don't know.
I don't know who that was either. Off the faceoff, puck back to the point. Dion shot goes off a body into the glass in behind the net. It's picked up there by Larry Scott. Clears it, and it's out to center ice. Hoke checked away, back into the St. Joe's end. Back it comes into the Massena zone. And, oh, there's a sandwich play there as Rochford and LeBombard both threw a check. And there's a whistle. And I don't know what the call was.
I'm not sure. These two
hand
officials.
Pass, maybe?
Yeah, I guess it is a hand pass.
Okay.
Again, I have trouble with their animation. Like you two. 21.6 seconds left in the second period.
I think we ought to send Walt Clark out there to be an official. We'd know what he called. I don't know if he would, but we probably would. Off the face-off. Puck bounces in the circle, picked up there by Cressetta. He drops it across. Bouncing puck in the slot. Rochford clears it into the corner. Dion ahead to Reed. He gets it out to center ice and takes a check, but here comes Spanberg, and he has it poke checked away, and that's going to take care of the first period, or second period right there. So the Massena Red Raiders score the lone goal of the second period, and they will be going to the locker room with a 2-1 lead. They were undefeated last year. They had 2 ties, and at the end of the year when they do the poll, not that the poll really means anything, but they and Massena were co-number ones in the last poll of the year. Massena, of course, won the championship with a victory in Utica. Off the face-off, puck in the zone. Kerwin trying to keep it in. He did. Nice job. Here comes Willard. Winds up and the whistle blows. And we got a injured player on the ice.
This is number 14, Tim DiGiulio, the big defenseman, and it looks like something up around the face area, the neck. He is writhing in a lot of discomfort down to the left of his goaltender, and immediately the trainer is out there assisting to him. Boy, there's been a lot of St. Joe's players that have been on the ice tonight. I don't know if they're... I think he's trying to encourage the official to give a high-sticking penalty, but not after the fact. There's not going to be any penalty called here.
No, you can't call it after the fact. It may have been a penalty. We didn't see it. It happened behind the play, but they can't call it on the word of a player.
No. Again, he went down. It's Timmy DiGiulio. He's a big one, 6'2", 195 pounds, senior, one of their starting defensemen, and he's up on his feet, getting a nice round of applause here from the sparse crowd for this championship game in comparison to the game, the packed house we had last night. Both the 2 local teams, of course, playing in the consolation game. And here in the championship game, we've got 2 teams from afar. And the main fans that are here are basically the parents and maybe a few brothers and sisters.
That's right. Face-off will be inside St. Joe's territory. Massena on the power play here. Brian Terry gets ready to take the draw for the Raiders. Off the face-off, puck in the circle. Willard gets tied up, can't come up with it, and the Marauders dump it down the ice. Garcia, what'd they call?
Well, he called a high sticking. Well, I guess that one led into this one right here. He did complain enough that he got, wasn't 5 seconds after the play that...
Willard gets a high stick.
He gets a high stick. Well, that's, I guess, working on the official. Usually the coaches do that, are able to get away with that and work the official for the next call. But that time the player will have to give Tommy DiGiulio credit for that one.
So we're down to 4-on-4 now for the next minute 6, and then a brief power play for St. Joe's of Buffalo.
And Mr. DiGiulio can't be injured too severely. He's back out there.
Yeah. Face off right side, Massena zone. Off the draw. Terry wins it. Moves it ahead to LeBombard. He can't catch it. DiGiulio flips it ahead to his centerman, Buckley. Buckley circles in his own end, starts back out. Into the Massena zone. Trying to get the shot off, but it's blocked, and DeRocher picks it up. Here's DeRocher skating ahead. Goes by everybody down the ice, and apparently didn't touch. I thought I heard it hit a stick, but it didn't apparently. And it will be a face-off and an icing call back in the Massena zone.
Good try, good attempt by Tommy DeRocher, trying to hit a streaking Brian LeBombard, who came from the weak side and busted right up the middle. And if he would have been successful, he was through the defense and home free. Good try by, good attempt by Tommy DeRocher.
Derek DeRocher.
Derek, excuse me, his dad is Tommy.
Off the face-off, the puck back all the way in the St. Joe's end. 2-1 the score. Massena leads it here. The puck comes to Buckley, trying to move it out. Buckley flips it to center ice, and into the zone it goes. Here's an opportunity for Scott. His shot, not a hard one, save made. Scott picks up his own rebound in the corner. Schneider looks to tie him up and does. And the puck controlled by St. Joe's. They center it, but it's blocked by Joy. Here comes Massena, flipping it ahead for Reed, just a little bit too far. It comes in on Janal, and he flips it back to the blue line and out to center ice. Joy is there again. Back to Reed. Reed and Spanberg. Spanberg got knocked down, and St. Joe's comes back with a puck. Here comes Tom DiGiulio. Across the blue line, drops it. Here's a shot, save made. Garcia the rebound. Another shot. That one didn't get through, and Garcia drops on it. The back-checking forward from Massena didn't see the puck. It was right between his legs, and St. Joseph's with a good opportunity there.
Big save by Brian Garcia. The St. Joe's forward picked up a loose puck, and he unleashed one from about 35 feet out through a little bit of traffic, but Brian Garcia equal to the task. On the other end, just a great play by Frankie Joy and Matt Reed. It wasn't successful in the goal, but Frankie Joy got the puck in his own end and immediately looked up and saw Matt Reed breaking without the puck and hit him right on the blade of the stick. Good pass.
Face off right side, off the draw. Garcia sticks it. Massena killing a penalty. They're going to move it out. We're down to 10 seconds. Here's Terry. Gets hauled down, but stays with it. Flips it to LeBombard. LeBombard breaks and backhander save. Gets the puck back again. Centers it back to the blue line, and it's intercepted there. And back comes St. Joe's. Here they come into the zone. Drop past the shot. Save, Garcia. Oh, big save. He looked behind him, but he had it in the glove.
Oh, boy, just an outstanding save by Brian Garcia. I'll tell you, if that would have been last night, this place would have been rocking off its feet. An outstanding play by Garcia. Crossetti and I think Adamski came down on a 2-on-1 situation. Actually, it was a 3-on-2, and they worked it really well. And Crossetti found himself all alone in front, and he ripped a wrist shot from in tight, and Brian Garcia just came up with a big glove save.
Massena's going to get a penalty on the play in front of the net as Brian Terry gets the gate. I think he called him for hooking.
I think these officials are starting to get somewhat intimidated. We saw Josh Bamberg was upended just a second ago. Craig Terry was upended a second ago, and there was no hooking or holding or tripping on those. I don't know.
Face-off will be in the Massena zone. St. Joe's with a power play here. Massena holding on to a 2-1 lead. Off the face-off on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard, 2-1 for Massena. Puck controlled by St. Joe's. Here's the shot. Save Garcia. Rebound side of the net. Bounces in front of him, and he grabs it for the face-off. Another big save for Brian Garcia.
Big save and tough save. And we mentioned before, Brian Garcia really into the game, exuding a lot of confidence out there. You can just tell by the quickness in his gait out there. And he just wants he's challenging the St. Joe's shooters. Come on, I'm ready for you. And he really looks sharp. That was a good save from a tough angle.
Matt Reed will take the face-off against Crosetta. Puck trickles back to the blue line. Controlled by St. Joe's. DiGiulio in the slot trying to center. It's knocked away. Bounces back to the blue line. Kept in nicely. Here's Mike Dion with it. Oh, I almost called him Tommy. Now it's P.J. Rochford flipping it by the check. Comes up with a puck. Gets tied up. And moves it ahead to Reed somehow. Reed gets tied up along the boards, and it's picked up by Buckley. Buckley in the corner. Back to the blue line. Here's the drive. Reed partially blocks it. Deflects right on. A save made by Garcia. Ooh, that was a tough one. Puck squirts into the corner. Dion after it. Looking to move it ahead. Has it knocked away. Garcia's out of his net to play it again. Bounces side of the net. They bang at it. It comes back to Buckley. And Buckley's out by the blue line. Flips it in the corner. Bouncing free. Puck controlled by St. Joe's. Here's a chance in front, the backhander. Nice save by Garcia again. St. Joe's is shooting on this power play. Here's Crosetta. In the corner, looks to center, goes all the way back to the point. Here's a drive, save made Garcia. Rebound, another save. The puck bounces free. And finally it's controlled. No, it's St. Joe's again, backhander. Fired wide, side of the net. And there's 5 seconds left in the power play. Puck in the corner. P.J. Rochford just looking to tie it up. Spanberg in to help out. And the penalty has elapsed. Here's a bouncing puck. Spanberg knocks it down, and he's going to come up with it. Banging it ahead for Brian Terry. Terry racing for it, and he goes into the boards. Oh, he gets up slowly. Here comes St. Joe's. They just flip it down the ice into the Massena zone, and Ryan Kerwin back for the Raiders. Kerwin to DeRocher. Back to Kerwin as DeRocher got checked. Oh, the puck's thrown away in front. Here's a shot. Save Garcia! Big save as the Massena defenseman coughed up the puck in front of the net, and Brian Garcia came up with a huge save. I think that was on Mirzwa.
I'll tell you, Luke Mulva committed highway robbery last night, and Brian Garcia just committed highway robbery here today. He just, Mirzwa was stoned, but Collins, great pass from Collins, who stole it from the Raider defenseman, put it right on Mirzwa's stick, right out in front, and he thought he had a goal. We thought he had a goal. Somehow Brian Garcia sliding across, making the big save.
Face off in the Massena zone again. Off the draw, controlled by Mirzwa. His shot, and a save made by Garcia. Frank Joy trying to flip it around the boards. Comes to the blue line. Knocked in the corner. Chad Schneider with it to LeBombard. He just lets it go out to center ice. And it trickles back in the St. Joe's end. Garon back to pick it up. Flips it over to Windrum. Windrum out to center ice. Schneider there has it knocked away and dumped back in the Massena zone. That should be an icing call. It is. And they move the faceoff back inside St. Joe's territory. 10:33 remaining in the third period. On the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard, Massena leads it 2-1.
Those last two penalties have really set the Raiders back on their heels and really picked up the gait of St. Joe's. They had a great flurry, a great power play. Only the heroics of Brian Garcia able to keep them off the score sheet because they were just buzzing all over the Raider goaltender.
LaPointe out to take the face-off now with LeBombard and and Courier, I should say. Face-off in the St. Joe's end. Face-off left side. Buckley will take it for St. Joe's. You probably noticed St. Joe's shortened his bench a little bit here in the third period.
Yeah, he's not going with the 4 units.
Off the face-off. Puck in behind the net, controlled by St. Joe's. They got a man streaking, and they almost got him the puck. Garcia comes out of his net to play it ahead. Here's another chance in front. Backhander right across the goal mouth. And I don't know if Garcia got a piece of it, but he held his ground. Bouncing puck comes out to center ice. Courier racing for it. He looks to pick up the puck, can't do it. Now the puck comes to the Massena blue line. Back in is Larry Scott. Scott in the corner now. Circles in behind the net. Here's Scott, the wraparound play. Poke checked, I think, by Frank Joy. Bouncing puck side of the net. Knocked down again. And here comes Massena's Courier breaking out. He's feeding. Is that Chad Schneider breaking? It is. Here's Schneider in the corner. Gets knocked down. And the puck comes free to St. Joe's. They look to get a guy free. That's Tom Buckley. They got a 2-on-1. And Buckley's going to shoot. Oh, big save by Garcia.
Big time save, big league save, NHL save. You won't see any better than that. And big Tommy Buckley was going to the bench, shaking his head. He came down on a 2-on-1 situation, and from a good angle for a shooter, and in close, he probably was 20 feet out. He wound up, and this guy's a big guy, 6'2", and he unleashed one. And I don't know how Brian Garcia, but he whipped out that left hand and just plucked that baby out of there. Best save of the night for Brian Garcia, and he's had some good ones.
Nat Reed out there to take the face-off now for Massena against Bill Crosetta for St. Joseph's.
Got a misconduct coming up to the St. Joe's club. I'm not sure who it's probably going to be the number 14. The Julio will wait and see. And he might, if he doesn't get over here quicker, he's going to get another one.
He's out of the game.
He's gone. He is gone. The referee is not going to put up with that. This is the same young man who was putting on the injured act down in the corner, and he must have said something unpleasant to the official because he gave him misconduct. He gave him time. DeJulio continued on, went to the bench, over the boards, and sat down. And the official said, "No more of that. I gave you an opportunity," and he has just sent him from the hockey game.
Okay. Now, let's see if there's going to be a minor assessed as well. There's supposed to be. They're going to have somebody serve it, of course. The misconduct, and actually it turns out to be a game misconduct, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That's a game. He's gone, and he's their number one defenseman too. Not only are they losing a player, but the number one defenseman, Timmy DiGiorgio, is gone from this hockey game, and we've got 9:41 left in the third period. The Raiders up 2-1.
Our broadcast brought to you by Massena Optics at 55 Main Street in Massena. Also by Kentucky Fried Chicken, 232 Main Street, Massena. By StarTech Systems, 260 East Orbis Street in Massena. By Massena Agway, 528 South Main Street in Massena. And by Paris Environmental Control Corporation on the Winthrop Road in Massena. And they do assess the minor penalty. So the Raiders will have a power play here. What was the game we were doing when they didn't?
That was last night.
Oh, that's right.
Saratoga-Massena game.
Off the face-off, Massena on the power play. Moving it out to center ice. Nobody there to catch the pass. Saratoga controls in their own end. dumping it down the ice. P.J. Rochford at his own blue line, flips it ahead for Spanberg. No, he's going to leave it for Corey David. David can't quite control it. Goes back to the blue line. Mike Dion in the corner, back to David. David in behind the net. He's taken off the play. The puck rifled around the boards, goes by everybody, down the ice into the Massena zone. A minute left in the power play for the Raiders. Here comes Garcia. He's going to pass it ahead for Spanberg. Spanberg, cross-ice pass for Mike Dion. Dion looks up, tries to go to Spanberg, gets it knocked away, and he waited a little bit too long on that pass. In behind the net is P.J. Rochford, flipping it for Mike Dion. Dion, long headman pass to David. Corey David with it. Back to Dion. Dion flips it in the zone, trying to chase in after it himself, and he can't come up with it. And the puck ripped around the boards. P.J. Rochford keeps it in nicely. Flips it in the 45 to Spanberg. Spanberg has to get away from him. Picked up on the defense. The puck bounces back to the blue line. P.J. Rochford is there. Bounce pass. Spanberg steps in the slot. Gets the... Oh, passes it. I thought he was going to shoot. Maybe should have. Here's Spanberg. Again in the corner. Looking to set it up. Has it knocked off. Gets it back again. And then has it knocked off by Buckley. And Buckley backhands it into the Massena zone. Garcia's going to flip it ahead for Matt Reed. Reed turns around. Steps by one, by two. And then gets knocked off the puck. And the puck comes free. Dumped into the Massena zone, and that'll be an icing call as the penalty has elapsed. And we're down to 8:03 left on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Massena still leads at 2-1.
Not an effective power play for the Raiders that time. And again, they really don't need another one. They'd like to protect this one-goal lead. But that initial pass on a power play, the first pass is so important coming out of your own. It sets the tempo for everything. And they just weren't able to connect on that first pass, put it a little bit behind or a little bit ahead of the intended receiver.
Brian Terry will take the face-off inside St. Joe's territory. Terry out there for Massena with Willard and LeBombard, which is a new combination for us. Off the face-off, puck control by Dan Toole. Rips it around the boards. Willard throws a check. The puck squirts free. Picked up by Guerin. Guerin, the big defenseman, rips it around the boards. Kerwin pinches in. The puck goes by him all the way back in the Massena zone. DeRocher is there, but icing is the call. No, we got a penalty for elbowing against St. Joe's, I believe.
Or against Ryan Kerwin, possibly for that check down here.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry.
He's going to call Ryan Kerwin pitch down, and number 10, I think that's Chad Catachetti, as surprise, surprise. You didn't see Ryan coming down, and I thought it was a good check, but I didn't have a good angle. The official right on the spot. Evidently, Ryan got the elbow up in there, so Raiders going to be killing a penalty here with 7:48 left to go in the third period.
Faceoff will be to the left side of goaltender Brian Garcia in the Massena zone. And you might remember last time St. Joe's very successful power play. They didn't score, but they did everything but. Here's Frank Joy. Gets tied up in the corner. The puck squirts free. Here's an opportunity. Crossetti goes back to the point with it. Moving it around. That's Crossetti again, his shot. And a save made by Garcia. Puck in the corner. They flip it in behind. Here's Coccianiti. Coccianiti in the corner with Joy. Joy throws him into the boards. B.J. Terry picks up the puck and flips it out to center ice. LeBombard almost stole it away, but now here comes St. Joe's again across the blue line. Offsides will be the call.
I'll tell you, it looks like they had a baker's dozen parked in front of Brian Garcia just a second ago. Everybody but his brother was parked in front. I tell you, by invitation only. Fortunately, the Raiders were able to knock it out of the zone because Brian Garcia couldn't see where that puck was located.
Face-off outside the Massena zone. 2-1, Massena leads it on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. 59 seconds left in the Massena penalty, and Tom Buckley will come in to take the face-off against Matt Reed. Reed and Spanberg out to kill, along with Joy and Chad Schneider. Off the face-off, dumped in the Massena zone. Bounces free, Joy racing for it, just flips it ahead for Spanberg, and he dumps it down the ice on the backhand. Back after it there is Guerin. Scott Guerin, the defenseman for St. Joe's, flipping it ahead. Puck poke checked away by Spanberg. He takes it in the corner, centers it as he drew a crowd, and St. Joe's will move it back out again. Here come the Marauders across the blue line. Schneider does a good job to break up the play. Frankie Joy flipping it ahead for Reed. Reed finds the backhand. He didn't know where the puck was initially, but saw it and backhanded down the ice into the St. Joe's end. 6.5 left in the third period. 2-1 Massena. Here come the Marauders again, out to center ice. Spanberg gets a piece of it, steals the puck. Here's Spanberg just flipping it off the boards in the zone with 9 seconds left in the penalty. Here comes St. Joe's. Back down the ice, poke checked away. Matt Reed with a puck, and he flips it on the backhand. Penalty has elapsed. That time, St. Joe's did not have much luck at all on the power play. As they again, you said that first pass is so important, and that was the case there. Here comes Buckley across the blue line, gets a poke check, then it follows it up and flips it in the zone as St. Joe's wants to make a change. P.J. Rochford gets it out to center ice. Kind of a dangerous pass there. Gets it back in again. Here's Rochford. Again, the pass out to center ice intercepted. Turning it around, here's a shot. Garcia makes the pad save. Puck goes in the corner. Here's another shot, and Garcia's going to glove it. That was a real sharp angle shot, and Garcia held on.
Win or lose or draw, the Raiders tonight, this has been a total team effort and just punctuated by Brian Garcia in the pipes. He's made the key saves at the key time and some tough ones. And we said all year long the Raiders have exhibited 3 outstanding goaltenders. They're blessed with not 1, not 2, but 3. And Brian Garcia is really shining here tonight, but so is the whole team.
Craig Terry will take the face-off against Brian Cressetta. Off the draw. DeRocher throws a check. The puck comes free. Here's a chance in front, and the backhander is wide by St. Joseph's. Puck bouncing in front. Here's a backhander shot. Oh, just wide again. I think Garcia got a piece of it with a big pad on the way by. Ryan Kerwin looking to dig the puck out of the corner. Ahead to Courier and bouncing out to center ice. Here's Courier trying to follow across the red line. He flips it in the zone. Racing in after it is Craig Terry. Can't come up with it. Courier will in the corner. Back to Terry in behind. In front. LaPointe shot. Save made. Oh, he didn't get the wood on it he wanted to on the bouncing puck. And the save was made by Mike Janal, and he held on.
Great effort by that little fire plug, number 10, Jamie Courier, who just hustled into the corner and out-hustled, out-muscled the big St. Joe's defenseman and was able to get it over to Brian Terry, who in turn put it out in the slot for Mike LaPointe, who was able to get the shot off, but good save by the St. Joe's goaltender. But just all-around effort. Good hustle by that line.
5:08 left in the third period. Massena continues to lead 2-1 on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. It'll be Brian Terry taking the face-off for Massena now on the St. Joe's end. Well, no, I guess not. They're going to boot him and put Willard in there to take the draw. Off the face-off, Chad wins it back to the point. Joy flipping it in the corner. Apparently got out, so offsides will be called on Massena. Yep, that's the call.
5:04 left in this hockey game, and the Massena Red Raiders hanging to a 2-1 lead over the St. Joe's Marauders from Buffalo.
Brian Terry will take the face-off. Off the draw, the puck sits at neutral ice, picked up by Joy, and he dumps it in St. Joe's territory. After it is Windrum. That's Logan Windrum. Back to the point, kept in by Schneider. In behind the net, puck took a funny bounce. Bounces into the corner. The Marauders try to clear. Terry steps in front of the pass, knocks it down, but it bounces free to Garone. Garone in behind, picks up a forechecker, and dumps it to center ice. Schneider right back, dumps it in the zone. Massena clears. Oh, there's another weird bounce, but the puck comes free. Garone flipping to the blue line and out to center ice. LeBombard has it knocked away. Poke checks it back again, and it's finally dumped in the zone. Garcia out of his net again. Flips it along the boards. Willard takes a check, gets the puck back to Frank Joy. Here's Joy, over skates, has it taken away from him by Crozier. Crozier in the corner, kicked free. Here's a chance in behind, the wraparound attempt, the save, and oh boy, just over the net. Garcia almost didn't get back in time for that wraparound attempt. Here's Frank Joy with it, flipping it ahead to Willard. Willard just lets it go to center ice. Picked up there by Larry Scott, dumps it back in. And the save is made by Garcia from a long range. Joy goes over on the other side for Schneider. Schneider to LeBombard out to center ice. Dump back in the zone. Bounces into the corner with 3:40 left. Here's Joy again. Banging it ahead. Center ice. Did it get out? It did. Bouncing back across the blue line and offsides will be called this time.
Boy, the St. Joe's Marauders came within a whisker of tying this game up. Tommy Buckley, their big center, picked up a loose puck and tried to wrap around, and it was a race who was going to get to the post first, and Brian Garcia beat him, but the rebound came right back to Buckley, and he looked for the top corner on the far side and just put it over the top corner. Woo!
3:32 left. 2-1. Massena leads here on the Bob Post State Farm Insurance scoreboard. Off the draw, puck trickles back in the St. Joe's end. In behind, Spanberg racing for it. Poke checks it in the corner. Here's Corey David with it, dumping it back in behind. Has it swept away by Garon, the defenseman. He moves it ahead for Buckley. Buckley's long headman pass goes to Larry Scott. Here's Scott banging it into the Massena zone. Garcia flips it in the corner. Picked up by Buckley. Buckley centers it, but Corey David is there to move it ahead. Matt Reed. Reed pokes it out to center ice. 3 minutes remaining to play in the third period. Here's a check. We're going to have a penalty on Corey David against Massena. And the puck bouncing in the Massena zone. They center it right in front, and the save made. Garcia the rebound, another save, and Massena touches it. And David took a foolish penalty, and he's going to go for charging.
Bad time to take that type of penalty with 2:46 left to go. Just prior to that sequence, boy, oh boy, Mike Dion made a great play by tying up the St. Joe's player. I think it was number 17, Larry Scott, in front, who thought he had an opportunity to put that puck in the open side, but Mike Dion just had him wrapped up and wouldn't let him go. Wrapped up legally, I should say. But as you mentioned, Corey David taking that penalty here with 2:46, and
boy, that's a tough time to take a penalty.
And I'll tell you, I know right down below us, big Timmy DiGiulio was standing without his shirt on, and he wishes he was out there because he'd be on this power play. But he got thrown here in this period, got a game misconduct, and looks like one of the clubs, probably St. Joe, is going to call a timeout. Yep.
Our broadcast brought to you by Tiffany's Restaurant at 46 Main Street, Massena, by the members of the Seacom Federal Credit Union, 30 Stern Street, by Reynolds Metals St. Lawrence Reduction Plant, working together, their quality shines through, by the Village Engraver at 80 Parker Avenue in Massena, North Country Savings Bank, 22 Phillips Street, Massena, by Massena Building Supply, 70 Water Street, Paris Environmental Control Corporation on the Winthrop Road in Massena, by Massena Agway, 528 South Main Street in Massena, also by StarTech Systems at 260 East Orvis Street, Kentucky Fried Chicken, 232 Main Street, Massena, and by Massena Optics, 55 Main Street, Massena. 2:45 left, third period. Massena leads 2-1, and Corey David has to serve a penalty.
This is a real big boost. A lot of times the people in Western New York, you know, the Buffalo, Rochester, metropolitan areas, sometimes they, even though Northern New York hockey has been predominant for many years, but they kind of dispute their claim to fame. And I know the St. Joe's Club, as we said, undefeated in 2 years until the other night, and that was by another tough team from the Buffalo area. Came in here with, I'm sure, with a feeling that they were going to show the North Country contingent of hockey, especially the Massena Red Raiders, a thing or two. Well, the Raiders have answered the bell here tonight. They have just played as a team. All the units that Coach Long has put out there, the defense has played stellar, and number 21 between the pipes has risen to the occasion, and when they needed him, he was there.
Massena out to try to kill the penalty. Brian LeBombard and Matt Reed taking the face-off. Here comes Reed trying to move it ahead. It's knocked into the corner. Bouncing in there, Kerwin looks to tie it up. DeRocher flips it ahead, but it goes to the blue line and kept in there nicely. Here's, nope, the fake shot goes in behind the net. Racing around, they center it, knocked down in front. Here's a shot, Garcia save, they score! And I think the goal is going to be Jason Hamilton, and St. Joe's has tied it up with 2:25 left. This is exactly the same thing that happened last night, and I think the penalty was the same person.
And the small contingent of St. Joe's fans here making a lot of noise and a lot of jubilation. They kept the puck in the zone, won the draw, which is so crucial, won that draw, and batted it around, and it went in behind the Raider goaltender to the left of Brian Garcia, and hustling by the St. Joe's forward, dug it out and threw it out in front, and lo and behold, there weren't one, but there were two maroon shirts parked in front. Then we were kind of screened, blocked off. There were so many bodies in front, but they had at least 3 cracks at it, and Brian Garcia stopped the first 2 before we'll pick up the official number. Who'd you call, Jerry, on the goal?
I think it was, let's see, I lost my...
I'm not sure if it was Larry Scott or not. We'll wait and see. There's been no official announcement.
Yeah, I think that is who it was.
But we know with 2:25 left in the third period, the St. Joe's Marauders have tied up this hockey game on a power play. The shots What's that, 32-20, Gary, in favor of St. Joe's?
Yep. So St. Joe's has really exerted themselves in this third period.
Well, we mentioned St. Joe's, the all-boys school from the Tonawanda area, and Coach John Mickler is certainly no stranger to high school hockey and to hockey in general. He's very active in Hockey USA. In fact, he's one of their coaching program directors, and also coaches the Select 15 team from Western New York. And he's got a coaching staff about 3 or 4, and this is a good hockey club. But I'll tell you, the Raiders, win or lose, have really come to the fore here tonight.
Okay, B.J. Terry will face off against Bill Cressetta. Game is tied at 2.
We haven't got the official announcement on that tying goal.
Off the draw. Puck bounced to the St. Joe's line. Picked up there by Buckley, who's playing defense now. He flips it in the Massena zone. In the corner, DeRocher can't come up with it. Here's a shot in front, save. Garcia, here's the rebound, and the shot, they score! Again, Tom Buckley. Garcia made a great save, and Buckley picked up the puck, and nobody was anywhere around him. And he puts it by Garcia, and St. Joe's picks up another goal and takes the lead 3-2.
Stunning turn of events. Just some good hustle by the St. Joe's players. Right off the draw, they dumped the puck in the corner, and the forward raced in and beat the Massena defenseman, threw it out front to a wide-open St. Joe's player, and he unleashed a shot from about 12 feet. I don't know how Brian Garcia made the save, but he did. Gave up a big rebound, and then the Red Seas parted. Everyone seemed to go either to the right or the left, and Tommy Buckley, who was on the right point, jumped all the way down from the right point, picked up the loose puck, and he walked right in and just ripped one right up underneath the crossbar. And I don't know where everyone disappeared to, but boy, it just opened right up. But that was just good hustle by St. Joe's, and it paid off in a goal. We've got 2:09, and the Raiders are behind for the first time.
Off the face-off. Puck dumped back in the Massena zone. Garcia out of his net to play it, but icing is the call. I whistle a little late on that icing call.
And again, just that quick recap. Brian Garcia, he made a great save. St. Joe's player hustled in, threw it out in front, and made the first save. And then Tom Buckley, as you had called, who switched from center to defense, jumped down from the point, and he has come up with this go-ahead goal.
It will be Spanberg taking the face-off. Spanberg, David, and Reed out there for Massena. Face-off will be to the left of goaltender Mike Janal in the St. Joe's end. Off the face-off, bouncing puck controlled by St. Joe's as they break out of their own end. Here comes Larry Scott. Knocked off the puck by Joy. Joy throws a check. It comes to Corey David. David in behind the net now, flipping it, trying to get it back to Joy. And he gets it free to Matt Reed. Reed banging it for Spanberg, and Spanberg just dumps it to center ice. Back in the zone it goes. Massena zone, about 1:38 left to play. Bouncing puck to Corey David. David can't get it out of the zone. It's dumped right back in the corner. Here's Chad Schneider flipping to Spanberg to Reed. Here comes Matt Reed down the ice. Reed takes it across, trying to get the shot off, slides it through, but it doesn't get all the way to the goal. And Schneider, who lost his stick, that Spanberg keeps it in. Now the puck ripped around the other side by Scott. Joy keeping it in the zone, picked up there by Buckley. Buckley just dumps it down the ice, and they're going to let it go for icing. And the face-off, Garcia came out to play it, but he realized that it was going to be an icing call. And with 1 minute even remaining in the third period, we're going to have a face-off in the St. Joe's end, and we'll see if Coach Tim Long pulls Brian Garcia for an extra attacker.
Heads-up move by Brian Garcia. We didn't think it was going to be icing. It was going diagonally across, and didn't think it was going to make it. He came out, was going to play the puck, but then noticed the official with the arm up and smartly pulled back and got the icing, and Tim Long has made up his mind.
He pulls Garcia, so Massena with an extra attacker. Terry LaBombard, Willard, Dion, Rochford, and Spanberg out there face-off right side St. Joe's end. 1 minute remaining in the third period. St. Joe's with 2 quick goals here near the end of the game, 1 on the power play, have taken the lead. Off the face-off. The puck sits in the circle. Now it's dumped out to center ice. Rochford trying to dump it back in. Mike Dion with it. Flipping it ahead. Now it's dumped down the ice by St. Joseph's. And that would be another icing call, and the faceoff will be back inside St. Joe's territory, but that whacked off almost 11 seconds off the clock, and time getting very short here for Massena.
Big draw, big faceoff. The Raiders were so successful last night on the draws. They haven't been as successful here tonight, and that says a lot for St. Joe's, and that was a big one. St. Joe's won it. Let's see what happens here. Big number 12, B.J. Terry taking the draw for the Raiders.
Faceoff left side, off the draw. Again, St. Joseph wins it. Crosetta. He flips it around the boards, and it goes bouncing by everybody back in the Massena zone. P.J. Rochford flipping it for Mike Dion. It comes to LeBombard. LeBombard can't get it out of the zone. It's kept in there. And finally, LeBombard comes back to pick it up. Bangs it out to center ice. Bounces to the blue line, and it's picked up there by Crosetta. Crosetta moves it ahead. Dion flipping to the blue line in the zone. Racing for it there is LeBombard back to Dion at the point. To Brian Terry. He takes a whack at it. Puck still tied up along the boards. They try to move it. We're down to 10 seconds. The puck kicks free, and it's out to center ice. And that's going to be the game, I believe, right there. Massena's going to try to get a man free. And icing will be the call, but the buzzer sounds. And St. Joe's wins it 3-2 with 2 goals late in the third period. And a tough break for Massena. They took kind of a foolish penalty, gave up the tying goal, and then the winning goal just a few minutes later. And so St. Joe's beats Massena 3-2, but it was an exciting hockey game, and the Raiders have nothing to be ashamed of. They played pretty well.
2 goals late and 2 goals within 16 seconds. They tying one at the 12:35 mark. Scott Lawrence from Tommy Buckley, and that was a power play. And then the Raiders just 16 seconds later, kind of stunned, played such an outstanding game for almost 3 full periods. In fact, 3 full periods. They did play, even though they gave up 2 late goals, but kind of sitting back on their heels. And as we said, that danger time after the minute, right after a goal has been scored. And St. Joe's took advantage of it in the winning goal. They hustled in, beat the Raider defenseman to the right of Brian Garsh. He dug it out and threw it out in the slot. And I'm not sure who if it was Scott or Buckley parked out there, or Worth. It was one of that line. He just unleashed a shot. Brian Garsh, just highway robbery. I don't know how he made the save, but the rebound came out back towards the point, and there wasn't a white shirt nor a maroon shirt around except number 4. He jumped down from the point, and he couldn't believe his good luck. He walked right in and didn't have any opposition, and he just ripped one right up underneath the crossbar. Good shot by Tommy Buckley.
Again, the final score, St. Joe's of Buffalo 3, Massena 2.